I'm Joy Paul, and welcome to this GBM chatbot for Covid-19 use case. This is to help adapt your businesses address both customers and internal employee queries in the current Covid-19 scenario. There are three uh, aspects that I want to kind of focus as we demo automating conversation responses. The central theme is to fulfill consumer intent, and we'll come to that particular point. So, as we all know, there are many questions at these COVID times from the customers, and we support 10 plus channels, including IVR, WhatsApp, Facebook, other than the web bot. But the key aspect out here is the intelligibility of the bot to handle quickly new information provided by your organization, so that 60 to 80% of the queries can be handled by the bot. Second, in case of an eventuality the bot is not able to answer, the deflection to live agent so that they could handle the case even from home. But although they are scattered across, the call center agent manager can have full visibility to the queue load, idle time, and conversational KPIs and the like. And lastly, I want to kind of focus on, and probably this is the most important thing, how quickly you can address the content. That is, can we upload a Word or a PDF document of your content from your organization, and the bot auto understand the context? We'll talk about that. Now, we all agree the crux of a good bot is its ability to understand intent. It becomes even more human, where however I may ask a question, for example, I forgot my password, can't log into your website, it understands the intent of all these ones as password reset. So IBM's Watson award-winning NLP program, it needs you to give only one question, and it auto understand and all the key aspects like intent, entities, emotional tone from it, so that you only kind of need to kind of give one question. It auto understands all the other plethora of options it can be queried. Let's see how it actually works. So I'm going to log in to one of the pre-built bot out here. It can be customized for you. And one of the first things it actually kind of asks is, do you want to kind of select English or Arabic? For the demonstration, we'll go with English, but we will also have a session on Arabic. It's a voice biometric enabled.
I'm a virtual bank agent of Findability Bank. I can help you with open bank account and Forex related queries.
So, Corona, so I can ask the question in a biometric way.
Select one of the below options.
So what you really see here is a fictitious demo for an internal customers within a bank. We have collated information from Ministry of Labor, Health, um, and put together a few questions. But this is to demonstrate the art of the possibility. What we offer is to automate your employee and customer queries related to COVID-19 scenario in a quick and effective manner, and update it in a continuous manner thereafter. So what we see typically is that we select an option. This is what the contemporary bot does.
One of the below options.
You select a section, subsections, and it kind of gives you.
FAQs.
I'm going to off this for a moment, the biometric. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay. I'm going to ask this question, what is the test relay? So I'm going to focus actually on that. Now, here is a part where Watson differs. You don't need to kind of ask in a menu related format. You can straight away ask that particular question. For example, what are the test requirement? And it looks into the corpus of information and kind of comes back with the answer. Now, the best part is you don't need to, so for example, if I ask the question slightly different, can you detail the requirement? Say, for example, let's say for my test. Okay, so I'm asking the question slightly, very different from what I've trained it for. And the best part is it kind of gives me the question again, but not necessarily from that corpus. It could be from another corpus. For example, I've got Ministry of Labor related question. My passport is locked. What should I do? It looks into the same one, so it doesn't get a good need to go through the menu driven, ask any question, and necessarily I can even ask something like, and it should give me the same. It understands the intent. Yeah. So you get the idea of what I'm trying to kind of get across. Now, this is not necessarily, and you can keep on adding any number of information, but it also supports not only conversational AI, but also supports transactional AI. So in this particular case, I'm selecting a Forex related query. I would like to kind of continue. It gives me an option. So there is a slider menu. So I select a specific option in that, like, for example, foreign exchange. I could select from a so all that conversational aspect, like radio button, integration, validations, backend system authentication, all that is actually kind of available. Now, at this point in time, could be a good idea to kind of get back to another aspect, which is very unique to our offering, and which is called digression. Now, for this particular demo, let me kind of take to another bot to showcase that information. So I've got out here another bot. Now, this is another interesting aspect. It kind of keeps me my previous history. So the persistent or state of my log is actually maintained. I'm taking a risk assessment, World Health Organization risk assessment plan. It asks you a series of questions. It's got a workflow that it actually goes through. The best part is you can automate your workflows here. And we just take an example of the World Health Organization workflow. So I say it's enter your age. I believe it actually then asks you the male, female. Now imagine at this point in time, I actually going through a workflow, series of questions one after another. But I ask a totally different question. For example, what is the origin of corona? Okay. A totally different question. So you're in the middle of a workflow, it answers that question and then goes back and says, can you continue? So I think that's very cool. That's a whole idea of handling digressions. For example, I answered something and they said, okay, can I know what are the opening hours of your organization? Or say, for example, let's ask a question: is there a cure for corona? You get the point. What I'm aiming at. There is a digression. It answers the digression, and it comes back to your question once again. Now, at this point in time, possibly I want to kind of test this. I have done the bot. The bot is not able to handle, say, for example, and it needs to kind of go ahead and do a deflection to an agent. So the key out here we are going to focus is the intent analytics, which the bot looks after. And let me just show you the agent screen. So agent screen looks like this. And let me just refresh the screen. So you've got on the left-hand side all the previous conversations with agent, how many are open, closed, all those ones are there. And what I'm going to do is I would just reload it once. Yeah. And go across this bot of ours and request here for an agent. So there is a code word that we have actually enabled called agent. Let's just see whether that's been loaded. Yeah, that is loaded right now. Okay. Now I click on agent out here and it auto understands that. Did you hear that sound? So it has got an incoming. It can accept multiple calls. That means the agent can speak to multiple of the people on, and you'll realize out here all the people, the conversation that was actually happened in the past, that's available. I'm going to quickly respond to him from an already pre-built content. How may I assist you? And you'll realize that that information comes here. I would like to do a doctor appointment. And you'll realize that actually kind of comes in. So you get an idea. There's a whole way in which he can do the check the summaries, check the previous engagement with that gentleman. He can have a agent summary. At any point in time, he can deflect it to another subject matter expert. So transfer to another person. At the same time, the customer conversation can be viewed in a different way by the manager of the live agent. So he gets to see what is the customer satisfaction right now, what is the load, inter agent performance, and all the works that you actually kind of see. One of the other aspect is that this is also enabled with multiple data sources that kind of communicates with our close to around 40 plus um, channels, sorry, 10 plus channels, around 40 plus integration available. So WhatsApp, we do web, Twilio, IVR, and the like. Now, talking about WhatsApp, so this is an integration done one of my colleague, and you'll see that it's in a WhatsApp. He is asking for a request for leave, and the bot understands. He's giving an by command, voice command. It understood that in Arabic. It gave the answer. It checks how many number of days, and the series goes in. And the back end, what you've done is just to show you how your database looks like. You will realize that once it's been submitted, it kind of comes to the manager. Uh, the crux, what you're trying to say is that, look, we can automate conversational, not only conversational, but also transactional operations within the COVID-19 related scenario. Once he kind of updates, he gets the update back in here. Great. So let's stop that, go back here. Now, there is another one key interesting aspect. It's called the real-time dashboard. So from a complete control on how the whole aspect is happening, you get an hourly update, how much is the queue time between, how much is the idle time. That whole series available both daily, by hour, weekly, and monthly. You can even download that across. Great. So that brings to another aspect of the demo, which is how do we add new content to it? And this is a very, very important aspect or of the Watson um platform. So for this, I'm going to showcase to you. So obviously, we support the menu-driven option, but then I can upload a document here. So I've got a PDF document which has got the questions and things that we have got it. This could be your data, and we also kind of got an Arabic data content. Now, all what we do is we kind of come here and upload the document. I've actually uploaded that for you, and it looks like this. So I've uploaded that. Let me zoom it for you, and you'll realize that that's the document. Now, this is where the intelligibility actually kind of comes in. You see, I would go down and say, there's the Ministry of Labor. That's like a title. So I would go down and say, that's a title. And private sector jobs, that's a subtitle. Okay, that's a subtitle. I do this particular tagging. Now, you realize that there are around 11 pages actually. Let's do one more thing for you. I think I'm not done yet. Look, this is a question, and that's the answer. So for that particular question, I'll say, this one is the question. Yeah, so the first line out here, that's the question. It's simple as that. And the answer, that's the second line, is the answer. So I'll say that's the answer. So you just tag what is what. Now, the best part is you don't need to do for all the 11 or 1100 pages. You do it for the first 2 pages, say, for example. And to submit the page, what it does is you've got an aspect called apply changes the whole collection. It applies to the whole of the document. So coming back to what it does is your auto tagging of content, new content which is happening, becomes in a much more easier fashion. Great. So what we really saw was a winning conversational platform which is preloaded with content, but we can quickly enable with your content both managing the bots and the human agents. Thank you for your time, and do get in touch with GBM for us to adapt your scenarios. Thank you once again.